If you're talking about a person that's outside the organization that you're trying to meet, one of the things you have to understand is that in business, a lot of times we try to make this work-life separation, and it's not about that, it's work-life integration, right? And how you get to know people ultimately is getting to know their personal challenges. And either you can empathize through that, find common ground, or you can relate to that. And when two people can start doing that, then you really go down the road of building a deep relationship, right? And you need to think about relationship building like you would build it with your best friend or like a partner in your life when you're doing business. And that way it can help frame it, because most people feel constrained and like, well, I can't ask that question, I can't do that. But it's actually the opposite. So what you need to do in situations like that is ask people questions initially, and this is what I do, is asking a question, so what's exciting that's going on in your life right now? It's great small talk. It makes it really safe, and that person then could share literally anything that's going on. So you might learn something important. Or you could say, so what are you passionate about in your life? What are you passionate about in your life outside of work? Well, those are great conduits because they can start warming someone up to ask them deeper questions over time, right? And then you can share personal experiences as well. And that's how you do things, because what happens is that when people lead with vulnerability, they lead with authenticity, you make it safe for someone else to share so the relationship can go way quicker, right? So if you were, I had a client who went to Italy and he was from New Zealand, and I told him when he went out to talk to people about he got wine, and we get white wine, and people would say, oh, what wine did you get? And I'm like, oh, I got some Italian white wine, but it's not as good as my New Zealand, right? And then he'd say, I'm from New Zealand. And they'd say, oh, really? And then he'd say why he went to Italy, and he would bring up so we could actually be really vulnerable and have great conversations, because within 4 or 5 exchanges, he'd actually get on the meat and he'd actually share who he was and why he was there and trying to, learn another language and build a life and do things. And that would really escalate that relationship a lot quicker with someone else. And that's the key thing, because you have to be able to start doing that. So when someone tells you what they're passionate about, then you can riff off of that if there's some deep meaning, or you could also share what you're passionate about or ask them deeper questions that allows them to dig into that situation and just be there. And don't worry about getting to the sale. Just keep staying there and asking them the questions, because that person will take time for you because they like you. So it doesn't matter. The money will come, the relationship will not. And so that's what you have to end up doing. And it's the same thing in a company too, right? With the people that you're working on or managers, you've got to spend the time doing these things, because that's the key that separates you from everyone else and what will separate your success.